Well, big up, big up, big up. Welcome to Liverpool 12 Man Show. Back again for a little TGIF or Thank Gomez. It's Friday. It is a beautiful Friday here in Arizona. And it is also hopefully a beautiful day for all of you out there, especially if you are a Red. Hope that you're doing well. It's a big, big day for all of us because it's back to Premier League football finally. Some of us have been waiting patiently. Some of us aren't. I am an international fan, by the way, so I'm not including myself in this group of people that don't like international play. I actually watch CONCACAF, CONMEBOL. I watch. I wish I could watch a little bit more of CAF, by the way, but I do get to see some matches over for there. I watch plenty of Euros, so or UEFA. So I do watch a bunch of international play. I especially am very partial to my own team, obviously, as well. But it is finally over. Big up, Lee. Big up, Lee. Lee, if you want to join, by the way, the link is in the group chat. So hopefully maybe you can, help me co-host this episode. It's going to be a fun episode. We're going to do some predictions. We're going to do some conversation about some players. There's a certain player that's on the possible target list of our Reds, and it'll be for next summer, of course, but all the same, it's a big, big name and a big transfer price. We'll talk about that. We'll get into a couple other issues and situations going on with the club. Maybe even getting some banter, a little bit of talk from some of our rivals. Some rivals have some interesting perceptions and perspectives. They seem to can't keep. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure it should be in there. Yeah, it is in there. It is in there. So definitely check again, Lee. You should be good to go. But yeah, there's a bunch to talk about. We got Lee in the house. We got Liverpool's Clark Kent in the house. Big up, Lee.
Liverpool's Clark Kent. I'm just excited to have the football back. It's been bloody boring on it without it. I mean, life goes on. There are other things than football, but it does.
Yeah.
Well, it was after getting the season started and seemed to find a little bit of rhythm with the victory over Chelsea, and then we had to stop again. But, this is just the way it is. Like, just glad it's back now anyway.
Yeah, I feel you. I don't know. There's another person I would call you, but I don't know if you really know who that guy is. It's a little nerdy. It's for some nerds out there that are into like comic books and such. I would say maybe you kind of do have a little bit of a Guy Gardner in you, by the way. I don't know if you know who that is. He's basically the Green Lantern in essence.
Okay.
But he's in the new Superman movie. He's part of the Justice Gang, and the Justice Gang is Guy Gardner, Hawk Girl, and Mr. Terrific. You kind of if you give him a look, if you Google him, you might see a little bit of resemblance. But all the same, big up to everyone out there. Enough nerd talk, I guess. Before we get into too much nerd talk and alienate some people out there. Big up to Cedric. Cedric, been a little while, brother. Good to see you. Hope that things are going well. I know normally you tune in while at work or while you're going to work, so I hope things are well with you. That's a good question. I can look that up to see if it is. No, don't worry. I know as soon as I put the thank Gomez, it's Friday, little and had his picture up there, I knew people would be like, is he injured again? No, it's not that Joe Gomez is injured. Not at all. We'll get into the story, but yeah, we'll get more into the story. but or it's not about his injuries and stuff and the likes. Big up to Hashin Farsi. Big up to Cedric, like I said earlier. Big up to Red for Life as well. Big up to Lee, the other Lee, not again, not our guy Gardner Lee, but big up to Lee WizKid out there, and to all that are joining us. Big up to all of you. We're going to get into basically, like I said, blockbuster deal for a big name player that we have apparently in the making. We have a dressing room moment about Joe Gomez. It's a dressing room moment. That's all it is. That says everything about this squad's culture. I think the reason why I was saying it, and that was why I was saying thank Gomez this Friday, because he's good vibes, he's a good person, and the likes. You'll understand what I'm talking about once we get into that topic. Also, Mikel Arteta calling Liverpool the strongest, quote unquote, after Isak and Wirtz being acquired. Also get into Arne Slot's Koi update on Marc Guéhi, and my rapid fire weekend predictions before we end on the big question: how quickly should Isak be integrated, and is he actually the more complete footballer than Haaland? We'll see about that question, and we'll maybe get an answer from you. But as always, definitely, if you haven't subscribed, or if you need to see where to go to subscribe, simply go to the link I've just put into the thing. AR, big up, brother, big up. You can go to @Liverpool12man, like, share, and ring the bell, people. Ring the bell so you know when so you'll get the notification when we go live, and you can be a part of the conversation. That's simple. That's simple. So Lee, the Green Lantern. I'll say it like that. Since it doesn't seem like you really like the Clark Kent one, I'll say the Green Lantern. All right. The Red Lantern. You can be the Red Lantern. How about that?
Okay. Yeah. All right.
It's rumor mill time. Let's just start off with that. And this one's got smoke and a whole lot of spark, apparently. I thought it was a lot of copium by a lot of people out there at first, because I've heard the story, but it didn't make any sense, especially since the coach of Bayern Munich and I, at least at the moment, thought Bayern Munich really appreciated this player and that the player was enjoying his stay in the Bundesliga. But reports via Absolute Football replied to some English papers' messages saying it would be no great surprise if Liverpool were to table. Now get this number, Lee. It would be no surprise if Liverpool were to table a £138 million offer from Michael Olise next year. And honestly, it'd be just as predictable to see Manchester City or maybe even PSG test the waters as well if this player is interested in leaving the Bundesliga. But yeah, and of course you got to add Real Madrid to that too. You know, Real Madrid is always involved in anything that any player we're looking at. Real Madrid's looking at also. But why is the question I have, man? Because at 23, Olise has gone from Crystal Palace prodigy to full-blown European A-lister, apparently. And his numbers are exceptional in the Bundesliga. Don't get it twisted. His current evaluation sits around 86. I think it's on Transfer Market, 86 million. I'm sure Hylor can check that for me to double check to make sure I'm even remotely in the ballpark. But 86 million pounds is what it's looking like. But there's a kicker. Next summer's World Cup could balloon that number. He could do exceptional in the World Cup, and that number all of a sudden goes from 86 to 110 or 120, maybe even 130, 140. Form matters, and he's already at 5 goals and 6 across club and country this season. Profile fits what Liverpool have targeted this window and last window decisively, because it is a player that is in itself decisive. player that has high impact for a forward in the final third, who creates a punch, has versatility. If the Wirtz, Isak, Summer told us anything, it's that Reds won't be shy if the player is decisive enough. They will pull the trigger. That's why you've all of a sudden seen, I don't know what has happened, but I'm going to eventually do an episode on that. But the FSG outers have suddenly disappeared. Maybe the Chicken Little doom and gloomers out there have finally recognized the fact that it is not an easy task to run a club, especially with FFP and PSR rules and the likes. And our club tends to warrant on the side of doing it not only cleanly and correctly, but also doing it so exceptionally well. And it's why we're in an incredible position to do a lot with our players. But I'm going to ask you this, Lee. Red Lantern, at 138 million pounds, is Olise more luxury upgrade or maybe structural necessity? Or is that just like an inflated price from the market where you might say, whoa, we need to like really pause for a second?
Yeah, the thing is, bringing him in next summer, that would mean in Mo's final season, we could potentially, phase Mo out and phase Elise in. So the thing during the same season, could have both of them and use both of them, but, Elise progressively more towards the end of that final season for Mo. It's going to be an interesting time, whatever happens. I mean, I'm focused on us really getting a midfielder and a centre back next summer. I'm not necessarily, wanting another forward at this stage, but I wouldn't say no. Of course, I wouldn't say no. And he is a great option or candidate. He's a great candidate as a replacement for Mo because it's going to be hard. But somebody else might present themselves, during these final 2 years of Mo's career. It could be somebody else. It could well be Elise. But, then again, it might be someone else. Be an interesting one to keep an eye on, though, this season, how he does for Bayern, if the link persists throughout the season. So, yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A big question. Big question. Shout out to Baz, by the way, joining us. Big up, Baz.
Big up, lad. Big up, lad.
Hey, thank Gomez it's Friday.
Hell yeah. Back to football.
Back to football. Might get to see Gomez this weekend. Who knows? But we're just talking about this crazy story that I saw that has been written by multiple publications, by the way, not just like, some random publication. And it's basically talking about Olise possibly being a target for us. But not only that the asking price is 138 million pounds that we're prepared to possibly offer for his services. Just like Hylor says, his contract runs out. Like he's got till 2029 on his contract. So it's not like this is some player going into his last year of his contract or time is starting to run down on his contract and maybe we can get some type of decent deal. He's got a lengthy contract. 138 million though.
It's quite a bit, isn't it? It's quite a bit, but I think the thing is, Liverpool have always said, they're prepared to, to bring in the right players, but to bring in players if it's for, the right reasons and if they're good enough. And, we've obviously broken 2 transfer records in, 1 season. If he's a player for the future and, someone that's going to be replacing someone like a Mo Salah, then, they're not going to come really cheap. So it's an interesting one because I rate him really high. I think he'll be a great player if we were to do a deal with him. But like you said, I think I heard it just before I came on. Obviously, going to the World Cup and that, if he has a great one, that may be, quite a significant amount more.
Yeah. It's why, like,
could put his price up.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we've got the added bonus that he played already in the Premier League, so that's always a good thing. That at least he'd be familiar with, the pace of the game, and that wouldn't take him long to readapt, would it?
No, and I think he's homegrown as well, isn't he?
He would probably count as homegrown, wouldn't he? Despite being French, because he must have been.
He might count as homegrown since he's played in the league for as long as he has.
Yeah, he don't even sound like a Frenchman. He sounds very, very British, to be fair.
Yeah, maybe so. But it is something to note. I know a lot of people don't like international play. That's not their cup of tea, or and the likes and yada yada. However, you still have to get it across that World Cup. There are reasons why, one, players love playing for their country. Let's not get it twisted. You might not enjoy the fact that it takes time away from their club time, and you get less to see of that. Of course, that makes sense. However, players tend to, if not at some points, tend to enjoy playing for a club, or country, more than even clubs sometimes. But all the same, it does make a difference with these players, because when the World Cup comes around, World Cup can be a difference maker in whether you get a big time move to a club team. You could be a player playing in, I don't know, for Santos, or a player playing for some team in Besiktas or something, and finally you make a World Cup appearance, and all of a sudden your stature goes from prospect to all of a sudden full-blown talent. And Michael Olise could easily be that. Do you think if it becomes a bidding war now, and it's very difficult to be a bidding war at 138, that's just, I think that number is going to push a lot of players in that race out. But City has the money, PSG has the money. I don't think Real Madrid would spend that kind of money, but they have the money if they wanted to. Does Liverpool walk away immediately if it comes into something of a bidding war? And would you not look to spend as much as we might possibly have to?
Depends what type of bidding war it was. If it got ridiculous, like if price got pushed up to a ridiculous level, then I'd expect us to walk away. Or not if it was reasonable. If the price was what we considered reasonable after what we've paid out this summer, it'd be a great move, I think. But as I said, by the time Mo's contract is up, someone else might have presented themselves as an option to being a successor. We just don't know if we are gonna move for another forward next summer. For me, next summer, the key thing will be to get a midfielder, so we have more rotation options in midfield. But out on a centre back, obviously, maybe two if Ibu leaves, maybe two. But so getting another forward is not the highest priority for me next summer. But as I said, of course, I wouldn't say no. If they thought doing the deal now was the best time to do it for Olise, rather than waiting till Mo's contract is up, then great. But if not, maybe they'd wait. I mean, I'm assuming he's happy at Bayern. They won the league, it's a big club. He knows he's going to get a good shot at the Champions League every time he's there. Bayern usually make a good fist of it. They went great last year, but do you know what I mean? It's a club where you expect to do well in the Champions League. And I'm sure when he went there, this is one of the things that was uppermost in his mind. Harry Kane the same. But it'd be interesting to watch him this season anyway. And like I said, it'd be interesting to see if this link persists further into the season. If we're hearing it still, in January, February, whatever. So.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I think Liverpool don't normally go into like bidding wars with other teams. They'll have a certain budget or valuation on someone like Olise, and they won't go over that. But then also you got FFP as well, isn't it? Really, like some teams can be affected. I know people like Real Madrid and your bigger clubs, they wouldn't really be too affected by that. But I just think it's not a bad thing at the same time where Semedo's also been mentioned in the chat as well, and obviously he's way cheaper, but Liverpool haven't always gone for the star players. You know what I mean? They've gone and they've got people like Mane and players like that. It doesn't have to be a household name like Olise, but I think the profile that he has, I mean, I think he'll do really well for Liverpool. There certainly will be a lot of people interested in him, but I think we've look at Isak, for example, this season. Chelsea could have gone and got him, or someone else could have gone and entered and got him. But I think because Liverpool were just on it. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting, like Lee says, to watch him. I mean, he's definitely a great player, but I know he does come with injuries as well. So, it's one of those where to replace Mo Salah, you've got to have something about you, and if they've linked him up to be someone that can be Salah's replacement, then that's a very big compliment. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Crab is saying streets in the house. By the way, Crab is saying run me Semenyo ASAP. Forget Olise, not worth that kind of money. That is ridiculous, though. That is 138 million. I mean, we just saw what it took for us to basically, shell out the money that we did for Isak. Do I think that? Would you? I wouldn't put Isak and Olise on the same level. I don't know if you do. Maybe you do, Baz. Maybe you do, Lee. But I don't put them at the same level.
Yeah. No, I think there are levels between them, but I can see what Rasta Crab is saying. And big up to you, my bro. He's bigger, he's stronger, for real. But I don't know. It depends on what Liverpool are really looking for, in profile. I mean, I'm pretty sure when they do drop a list to replace Mo Salah, I mean, those guys would definitely be on there. That's those two that's just been mentioned. But I mean, I don't know, bruvs. At the moment, Liverpool look like they just, they want every big player that's going out there. You know what I mean?
At the moment, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, we ain't messing about. And, he's a great player. He definitely is a great player. But I wouldn't even be too sad even if we got Semedo, to be fair. You've seen what he can do. You know what I mean? Firsthand. So when you got players like that against us, you'd rather them playing in our team than against. But you don't know. I mean, so long as we replace Mo Salah with someone that's good enough, that's all I care about. It doesn't have to be, Olise. It could even be Rodrigo. Could be someone like that. Could be anyone.
One of the interesting things about Salah this season is hopefully there'll be less on his shoulders from the point of view that we're going to have somebody in the middle scoring goals now, and hopefully Vert's providing bullets for them. So hopefully we won't be as dependent on Mo, because we can't be again this season. But he'll still be a massive player for us, within the framework of the team. It's just that, the attack's changing a bit now, isn't it, with the addition of Wirtz and Isak and Ekitike. So, whether he'll want to replace Mo for when the time comes with another left-footed player who sort of plays in a similar sort of way to him, I don't know. He might go for something a bit different. He probably will go for a left-footed, I would imagine, to replace him, rather than having somebody right-footed out there. It seems to be the way a lot of teams like to play now, innit? Left footed on the right footed on the left. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it develops anyway. He is probably the best name out there that you can think of at the moment, isn't he? Probably the best profile player that you can think of to replace now. Right now.
Some might say Rodrigo.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, we were linked with Rodrigo as well. Like, to be fair, Rodrigo didn't want to leave.
He would be cheaper than Olise, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, there's that, and the thing is, to be fair, they got a new manager in, haven't they, Real Madrid, and he wants to fight and stake his place there, and it's going to be difficult for him. But by then he would have had a full season and be like, you know what, it's just not working out. Do you know what I mean? It's like literally they don't rate me, and he's still he's at an age where he'll need to play, so he may potentially be more on the market. I think this summer, where people have been linked with him, they've been more along the lines like they're trying to push him to their club, whereas he's kind of like, I don't know. And you don't want a player like that. But when you've got a player that's accepted, like, well, okay, I'm not going to get a game here, or I'm not going to, be in their thoughts like that, then he goes to go and prove himself, doesn't he, really? So he may potentially be an option. But I know a lot of, like you just said, he'll be a cheap option, so other clubs will be looking at him.
Yeah,
and we've also got
a cheaper option. Semenyo's not Salah. Let's not get it twisted. But I mean, like, he is still an excellent player.
Yeah. But there's also another factor as well. I mean, hopefully, we achieve greatness this year. But there is potential where, we run into trouble. At the moment, everyone wants to come to play for Liverpool. If we got champions like Arsenal are champions or City are champions and stuff like that, then the pendulum could swing. Where, someone like Olise might think, well, I would rather go to City. You know how players are. But to be fair, it'll be interesting. I do think at 138 million, it is quite a high price for someone that's, for me, still not super proven. I mean, I'm not sure about his stats. I could be wrong. If he's had great stats over there at Munich since he's gone, then obviously I'll take that back. But when I've seen him, I've just seen him more or less like he's a baller. I'm not sure.
He's a baller.
Yeah. What's his goal scoring records and stuff like that? Is it quite decent? Because I don't know.
No, actually, last year was possibly one of his best years, to be honest with you. Albeit it's the Bundesliga, but it was one of his best years. Let me pull up the his numbers.
I mean, I don't know, but I can only imagine that he's happy there. He's glad he went. The champions now, and as I said, they always have a good chance in the Champions League. Bayern Munich, he can win it any year, basically, Bayern Munich, if it clicks for them. Don't know if it will at the moment, but you know what I'm saying? I think he'd be happy. So I'm not sure like how easy it'd be to tempt him, and if they're happy with him as well. I'm not sure how easy it'd be to tempt him.
So last year, he played in 34. This is just the Bundesliga. 34 games played. He started in 28. He had 12 goals and 15 assists. It's pretty good numbers. On a team that obviously you're talking about, he's not going to be the high goal scorer on a team with Harry Kane. But I believe he had something like 20. He had 20 plus goals and 20 plus assists for the year, all comps. And that is his best numbers ever. You're right, Crab. That is possibly some of his best numbers. I'll tell you what he did in. People are talking about, he's Premier League proven. Well, let's see. In the Prem, his numbers were last year, or not last year, but 23-24. He played in 19 games. He started 14. He had 10 goals in 19 games played. That's not bad. And he had 6 assists. That is actually pretty good. 22-23, he played in a lot more games. 37 games, played 31 starts. and he had 30. Oh wow, that was a different year. In that year, he played in 37 games and had 2 goals and 11 assists. He had 37 games played in 2022, 2023. 2023, 2024, like I said, he played 19 games and had 10 goals. Pretty decent numbers, I'd say. They're not like 138 million pounds type numbers. That's why I'm speaking on that particular. I think you're paying not only market value, but you're paying like inflated market value for 138 million. That's pretty exceptional.
It's quite a lot of money, but the thing is, remember, we've nicked Verts off them. They're not going to be too great with us. Do you know what I mean? In terms of negotiations, I think like that. And he's still relatively quite, I'm not sure. I think, is he 24, 25, something like that? He's like, yeah, he should be hitting his peak. But to be fair, like Mo Salah was, used to score goals as well, but maybe not as prolific as he has been at Liverpool. But essentially, if we bring in someone like Olise, and, I don't know if we'll play that way once Salah leaves, but, we can potentially have a system where he does contribute more in terms of goals and stuff like that. But with one thing with him, I've noticed that he is quite, he's very left-footed as well, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? His right foot is not that great. But these things that can be improved on, to be fair. And, I think, I'm not disrespecting the German league, but obviously the Premier League's a lot better, and I think it's a lot more action-packed. And I think someone like him I would assume he'd want to come back and play for a bigger team. And, what more bigger team to play for than Liverpool?
Yeah. Guéhi and Wharton first is what AR is saying. Hyler is saying, look at that right winger position in our rivals. Chelsea have Pedro Neto. I think he plays on the left more than the right, but I know he does play on the right too, I guess. Sabinho, Cherki for Manchester City, and Foden. Arsenal have Saka and Madueke, and we have Salah and Frimpong. It's not bad.
It's not bad. You know what? I do think though. Lee touched on it earlier on. I do think that we have got Salah obviously for another season after this one, but we do need to look at maybe, like he said, like defenders and and potentially a midfielder as well. However, I know. Obviously we spent big this year. I'm not saying that we're going to spend big every year. It's not like our owners have just lost a checkbook and have not reported it. You know what I mean? They will. They will.
Someone's running. Someone's running up.
Yeah. Those full cases take maybe a couple of years. So if we got another year out of his checkbook, it would be good. But anyway, I think. To be fair, if we do spend, I don't think we're going to spend a lot next year. I do think we will address certain issues. I mean, if we get Guéhi on a free, if Liverpool are going to go back into it for him, and they can get him, they'll get him for free. Hebrew may be gone. I think Leone will get chances this season to kind of stake his claim. So I think he will potentially be, another centre back. I do think we will look at Mo Salah's replacements. We have to, I'm not saying that, if anyone's thinking that I'm thinking that, he needs to go now. It's not like that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that, we definitely do need.
You gotta be careful. You gotta make sure you do say that out loud.
Yeah, that's why I said it because I know, the internet can be very funny like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, certainly we definitely need to look. We need to look at a replacement. I do think though at 138 M's that is quite high, but sometimes you look at these things and if he turns out to be a great player at that age as well at 20, if he's what was he 25, isn't it 24, 25? He affects.
How old is he?
Yeah, I think he's like near the mid-20s, to be fair. And if we get 5 years out of him, at least we don't have to worry about him leaving. Leaving in his better years. Do you know what I mean? Like if we get him on a 5-6 year contract, that will time up to about 30, 31, something like that, depending on his age. And
He is
relatively,
23.
he's what? Sorry,
He's 23.
Oh, he's 23. Okay, so yeah, like by the time his contract finishes, it would be like what late 20s. So some clubs are a bit funny of putting
So it's like 4 years from now, so he'd be 27, 28.
Yeah, Liverpool tend to sign players on 5-year contracts in it, so it'll be about late 20s, maybe 6 years, if like have they done with Isak. So that ties him up, and then bigger clubs or clubs, if we're worried about clubs getting him, clubs don't really like offering big contracts to 30-year-olds in it, I guess. But yeah,
JK's in the house with us, by the way.
Big man, bro.
Yes, JK.
Bless Baz. Haley, how you cool, guys?
Yeah, all good, bro.
Sorted.
I think we've laid good groundwork this summer with what we've done in the market. We've done a lot of the hard work now for reshaping the squad, at least for the moment. But next summer, I think just a few tweaks, like a centre-back, a defender, so we can a midfielder, so we can rotate more, and that'd be good. I mean, we've still got 2 players for every position, haven't we? Wherever you look on the pitch, and that's what we need. That's what we've got. So yeah, that's what I'll be focused on really. Like throughout, I'll be watching. Obviously watching what happens if we're linked with forwards and that. But I do want those signings next summer. The eventual signing of Guéhi on the free. Somebody to replace Ibu as well if Ibu leaves, and somebody like whoever you want to say, a Wharton, a Belaber, a Stiller, and whoever, just someone who we can rotate and give Ryan more rest in future. Not be so dependent upon.
Well, I wanted to do a culture check. It's good that I want to do a culture check, and it's good that JK is there with us because JK is definitely on the same wavelength when it comes to the vibes, when it comes to regarding our team and the likes of the players. Joe Gomez posted training images this week, and the dressing room reaction told a story, I think. I know some people thought, oh, it's Joey hurt again or something like that. It's not that at all. It's just Joey was sharing the fact that he was happy to be a part of the training, be back on the pitch, and he was just kind of giving us insight as to what's going on. And Jeremy Frimpong dropped a heartfelt "My Guy" with shout outs and likes from Virgil, Endo, Cody, McAllister, Curtis, Rio even gave him a shout, a shout back. And a like, and the Jaden even gave him a like. That's not random. It's a squad circling this guy. And remember, just weeks ago, Gomez faced some real uncertainty. We all thought he was going to possibly Brighton or maybe even AC Milan, who had interest late in the window. He stayed, which a lot of us, or a good number of us, were happy to see.
Sorry, 12.
Matters. Yeah.
Can I, and also Palace, because I don't know if you heard that he was a last minute part of a deal to try to get Guéhi back as well, like get Guéhi to sign for Liverpool.
I did not hear that part. You elaborate on that. I didn't hear about that.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if it's any true, but I mean, like, I think lastminute.com, when they knew they weren't going to get the player that they wanted, they tried to shift the goalpost and say, look, we won't sell him unless you give us Joe Gomez, and Liverpool refused. So they still do think of him highly. I heard something like that. I don't know if if anyone else has heard it, or was it just me? I don't know, dreaming it. But I'm pretty sure there was a last minute ditch to try to get Gomez over there in order for Guéhi to sign for Liverpool.
I heard that they inquired about the possibility of having Gomez, but I heard that we weren't keen. I'm not sure how it went down, but I did hear that, Baz, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a really, really late thing because they knew they weren't going to get their a replacement for Guéhi in once they did. So they were like more along the lines, look, we'll only do it if, Liverpool would consider selling Gomez to them or loaning them or something along those lines. And I don't think Liverpool responded to that. And it was a bit of and then it just turned out to be no deal.
Well, I'm just putting it out there. It matters with 7 matches in 3 weeks to have a player like Gomez fit and available. He hasn't started yet, obviously, but he's versatile. Plays center back, fullback. Will be gold during rotation. That's huge. I understand he's 27. He fought through some serious setbacks. We all get that. We all know his injury record isn't exactly the most prime. But he returned versus Bournemouth and played well, by the way, after 6 months out. New manager, Arne Slot. I guess you call him still new manager. Not really. Second-year manager. Arne Slot needs rhythm players who can slot into multiple roles. Now this team is becoming his own creation by the choices that he's making with these players. I think Gomez fits into multiple roles and is exactly that. So sometimes little gestures, comments, likes reveal a lot. I mean, it reveals a lot about the culture of our club. It definitely reminds us of the fact that this player is a beloved player in the locker room. And I think it also reminds us that these players do really enjoy not only playing with the players, with their fellow teammates on the pitch, but that their relationship and their brotherhoods and their friendships go off the pitch. And that can be very good when it comes, or very powerful when it comes to, going through adversities and the likes, having those kinds of players that you can connect with and really make a difference with.
Yeah, he's been at the club so long, Joe, now, hasn't he? Like Brian was saying last week, he's been here longer than 2 of the stands at the ground, the main stands in the Anfield Road. And
that's mad.
He's been here such a long time. He's part of the scenery almost. But he's a good character, stable character, very quiet guy. But he's been a good squad member and a good player, and he over the years.
Yeah, top pro.
Things go for him. That it doesn't, fall apart over injuries. For him, just hope it goes okay. And if he does get any knocks, they're just short-term ones, so we can develop some sort of rhythm. Because he's going to be needed. We're going to have to use him. We've only got 4 options.
Yeah, Southampton game coming up. And the thing is with Gomez, he's only bloody 27, 28. He's in prime time now. He should be playing like his best football right now. Hopefully, we need him to stay fit this season and ready to play. We all wish him the best as well, you know what I mean? But his age-wise, he ain't like 34, 35. We're still keeping him type of guy, you know what I mean? So that's the thing with Joe Gomez. His age is sort of a plus point. Just hope he can just be ready to play. What's that
versatility as well, you can throw him in a few different positions, if needed.
We'll put him up front, as Goal Rochier says. If we're 3-0 up, we'll put him up front, get a goal.
Do you know with Joey Gomez? Yeah, I mean, both of you raised great points with him. He's been there for long, and do you know the thing with him? He's so humble. He's so humble. He's had some real unfortunate injuries for real. All right, at his age and stuff like that. But like you said, 27, 28 is, he's still got a lot to offer. And I've looked at his defending when he's been on the pitch, all being sometimes maybe, half a game or comes on a sub and stuff like that. But he's Mr. Reliable, dependent. Yeah, if he comes on the pitch, besides the injury, he's a great defender. He's a really good defender. And I think he might be someone like a Joe Matip. I know Matip played more games and stuff like that, but Matip, when he was playing and he was just on a little run or two and stuff like that, he would he'd be great for Liverpool. And Joe Gomez is the same thing. I think if he could have a season, if he had a season without any injuries and he was a starting thing, the time when we won the league, when him and Van Dijk were in there, they were unbeatable. They were unstoppable. A great defensive unit. Do you know what I mean? And he's like fine wine, honestly. I just think with him though, sometimes like when players don't play a lot and then they get put in because there's no players to play. That sometimes can help with injuries, like potentially like you can pick up an injury because you don't have the routine. You're not used, your body's just not used to playing, I don't know, 10 games in a row or 5 games in a row. Joe Gomez hasn't done that in a while that I can remember.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. You pick up things like injuries like pulled hamstrings and stuff like that. And that's the only issue with him. But we have got, obviously, we've been good, and knock wood that, we haven't had any major injuries at the club. But, we definitely got a manager that's, that is very good in terms of like you heard what he said with Isak today. Like, you know what? We signed him for 6 years. He's going to be there for Liverpool. But, we're just not going to start him. I think we've got to be very careful with someone like Gomez because, he's a player that needs to be we need to be very gentle with because we do risk of him being out injured.
Yeah. Like for me, do it softly, like the Southampton game coming up. Like definitely start him with the Italian lad. But for me, he has to be ready because we ain't got no other options. After Canate, we've got Endo or Gravenberch playing centre back. Or the Italian lad, yeah. But the Italian lad's not played a minute yet. So it's not really a sort of situation that I was really happy with the transfer window. The transfer window was big. I weren't a big fan of it until we got Isak. As soon as Isak got in, I was like, yeah, top window. If we wrapped up a centre back as well, it would have been probably the best window we've ever had. You know what I mean? So it's just like that centre back situation. Sort of, I don't know, man. If we had like Guéhi, if we got him in, I think those guys are a bit more confident. And like we've got Champions League games coming up, League Cup games. We've got a lot of fucking football. So I just hope Gomez sort of concentrates and think, you know what, my main objective this season is to stay fit. Because as long as I'm on the pitch, I'll do what I've got to do. But main thing is stay fit, bro.
Is that cup game before the Champions League? Do you know, JK?
I think it's on Wednesday, the Southampton game.
So you know what? Potentially, what they might do. I have a feeling Leone will be included in that, and I think potentially they will be watching him because I think, obviously he's 18, this Leone, but he's played relatively quite a lot of games for his young age, and I think if he does well in that game, he might potentially be considered for Champions League. You know what I mean? And I think he's going to get the opportunity. I think they will have to do something. And you know what? Like you said, in terms of transfer window, we were nearly there, bro. We were nearly there. The boy had his medical, and only for Palace to just say, "Yo, no, you're coming back." And it's such a shame. It would have been a 10-10 window. And to be fair, it's still, for me, it's one of the best windows that I can remember.
No. Yeah, bro. We've got Atletico Madrid. I was thinking that it's always like the week of the 15th, 16th, 17th of September is the first week of the Champions League. Yeah. So next week we've got Madrid.
Okay.
We've got Madrid. Then we've got the Merseyside derby on the Saturday, and then we've got to Southampton. Yeah, it's the other way around. So sort of a couple of hard games like Burnley away sound. Atletico Madrid at home is going to be a bit of a fight, but that'd be good. It'd be a bit of a fight, and the derby is the derby. You know what I mean? So, and then we got a nice sort of game against Southampton before we got sort of two tricky away games: Palace away and Galatasaray away.
I think we're going to be okay because do you remember when we got it when we played against Arsenal, Ibu came off. We were worried about like how long is that going to be? Is it a hamstring? Is it this? Isn't that? He's played for France. You know what I mean? He's match fit.
Yeah.
At least we're great with that. And then obviously Frimpong as well is going to be available as well. I am quite reluctant to take Szoboszlai out at the moment because he's had such an epic game. At right back.
Yeah, that's the big question now. What we're going to do, bro? Like, do you put him in that midfield, or you can't really take him out of the team? Because for me, he's probably been the best player of the season so far. And Szoboszlai is not really my cup of tea. I weren't a big fan of his. because of I know the talent he's got inside, and he weren't showing it, bro. This season, you're seeing that, and that's what I mean about Sabatola. When he shows it, you think, "Wow, yeah, he's a great player." But when he don't show it, it sort of frustrates you because I know he's got skills, he's got something special in him.
Yeah.
So for me, I wouldn't risk not playing him. I definitely would play him.
Yeah.
Somehow, I don't know how, but I'm playing him.
I think we're good.
Curtis Jones is injured. McAllister's not great, so I'll just slot him in next to Gravenberch and play ping pong at right back. That's the way I'll do it.
Yeah, we could do, and obviously Conor Bradley as well. He's got minutes as well, so we're in a good position. We're in a good position. It's a great headache for Slot to have. I just thinking when we play in the Champions League, obviously the pace is a little bit slow in it because we're playing, European competition. So I think someone like a Leone, if we are going to test our defenders out and stuff like that, or even Joe Gomez, to be fair. I doubt if they'll start Joe Gomez in a Champions League game, but to be honest with you, it will give him great time to give him minutes in that as well, because we need to keep him ticking. You know what I mean? Because you can't just have the boy on the bench. He's all when he's injured and then just bring him out the cold, expect him to do something, and then bam, hamstring, something like that, or a knee issue. We do have to just be very careful with him, and if we can do that, like on staying on us, on the topic of Gomez, I think Gomez is a reliable and, when he's playing, a very dependent player. He does have issues every now and then, but you know what? Hey, tell me one player, even Van Dijk, the great Van Dijk picks up, can have a bad game or two.
Yeah. But I think, bro, the Harry Kane England training camp injury for Gomez rocked him big time. Like, they didn't say who injured him.
Yeah,
they kept it sort of shush and stuff. But I know it was Harry Kane. Like, I just know it was Kane. Yeah, and he ain't been right since then, sort of. I reckon because he was right on form then when that happened. Yeah, he was like playing really well. Went to England, bro. Got called up for England.
Injury.
I'd have to look up the stat because I remember it was. Because Bournemouth seems like forever ago now, but when he got into that game, actually, you know what? I can look it up while we speak. When he got into that game, he ended up being like he ended up posting defensive statistics higher than the defenders that were in before him. And he only played like 15, 20 minutes of the game.
This is who? Joe Gomez.
Yeah, Joey G.
Okay. Like for me in the brain, bro, he's gonna have it all there. What to do? He's been playing football for a long time, and I mean, he's been at the club 10 odd years. I just feel, when you get injured in football, sometimes you're a bit sort of, I wouldn't say negative, but not. I wouldn't even say scared, but just in case you might get hurt again or something like that.
Yeah,
that can affect the player. You know what I mean, bro? Because Baz as well. You've had a few injuries, ain't you?
Yeah.
So
you're right.
You always have that. Mm-hmm.
No, you're right. I'm just saying you're right, 100%. Because it does. You aren't gonna pull it. It's just natural. It's just a natural thing. You're gonna go into a 50-50 or something like that. You're gonna think twice because of those injuries you've had.
Yeah.
I meant Arsenal, not Bournemouth, actually. But in the Arsenal game, he was excellent in the Arsenal game. 3 out of 3 for aerial goals, was 80% for his passing. He had 7 clearances for 15, 20 minutes. It's pretty decent.
Yeah, he did well. Yeah.
Let's not get it twisted. Joe Gomez is a great, he's a great defender. And, like we've also, like Lee said as well earlier, and we all know, he can fit in left back, right back, centre back, midfield as well if you desperately badly need something, yeah. He's been at the club. He knows better than any player, how it is or what it is to play for Liverpool. He's an ambassador of the club, he's a vitally important person for that, as you say, the locker room. Mm-hmm. So, players like that are worth their weight in gold, he's those kind of players, like, you know, there's always new faces, you know what I mean? That he's now at a mature place, you know, he's a dad as well now, and you know, new players coming in, you know, all these things that in the background that people don't realize to run a football club or to have, you know, the team being close, that, like, you know, the team bonding. You need players like Joe Gomez, who's been there and done it.
Yeah, you know what, you and 12 were saying this a little bit earlier on about that, about how certain players, I've noticed how fans are very disrespectful for players. Like, for me, you need guys in the squad like a Simicas, a Joe Gomez, even a Kanate, who's got character, personality, you know what I mean? And it makes the bonding even better. And I think sometimes football fans don't see that. They're like, he's useless. Like James Milner, you think it was because of his football we brought him? Really? Nah, it was because of who he was as a character. Really, is the reason we brought James Milner. Simple as that.
Enforcer.
Simple as that.
Yeah, he was an enforcer. He was, you know, he's an example of, you know, when you want to build a team with great, you know, players and team of men sort of thing. Yeah, you need your enforcers like your James Milner, because you know what, he's at that age. He's showing the youngsters that this is what it takes to be having a winning mentality, and these players, you know, people don't see. And you know, like even like signing Frimpong, some people might have their opinions on him, like he's not a predominantly great defender, but you know, he can defend. He's got good recovery pace. But you know what he brings as well? What he brings is a bit of banter in the dressing room. And you know, when you look at someone like Robertson, he's a joker. You know, when he goes now, you're gonna need someone like that. And you know what? We're safeguarding our club, and I'm liking what, you know, I'm really liking the signings that we brought, because we brought a bit of arrogance, a bit of class, a bit of, like, you know, joke. You know, we're great, you know.
Yeah, each signing had brought a personality. Like for me, Kirkes is dynamite. Like, wow. Frimpong's really boisterous. Like for me, he did the best press conference of a signing I've ever seen. How happy he was. I was like, wow. It was like great to see. So all the signings we brought, we did it with Klopp. Every signing was a good guy. You know what I mean?
TK's been a good signing.
Top signing, bro. We ain't really talked about him.
TK's presence in front of the microphone too. I mean, like, he's given some really well thought out answers to questions that sometimes can get you into some you know.
Yeah, because reporters are like that, aren't they, bro? They always try to say everything.
It's their job. They want to get something that, you know, sells, that gets headlines and sells. So, you know.
Yeah, we're really lucky to have the two of them, aren't we? Because there's a slight bit of difference between them, but they do play, like, you know, they've got a similar thing about them, you know, really good close control in tight spaces, both tall, rangy, like guys, with great close control. And it's just wonderful to have both of them to pick from, isn't it? What we will have soon, once Alexander's fit. Dream come true, really, isn't it?
You know what, though? I was saying, I'm so happy that we had the international break after we've signed Isak, because it will get that noise away from him for a few weeks. You know what I mean, bro? The Newcastle fans put him through hell, man. I was like, yo, I've never really seen that. We never did that to Coutinho, Suarez. None of us did that. Liverpool fans, we just left it. I want to go, Joe. But I think it was good that we had the international break, and Isak had a few weeks away, and now he's like training with us, and he sort of act like a new signing. You know what I mean?
We looked pleased as punch when he finally arrived after all that circus that went on around him, and all the mud being slung at him. Like, he was just glad to get here, and you could see it in the guy's face, couldn't you? Not only was he pleased to be signing for Liverpool, it was just after all that crap, he was just right. I'm here now. Let's get on with business.
Yeah. You know what? He's cold, because even when he had his interview as well, as much as he's happy, what we've got there is a flipping gunman. That guy, I want it all. I want to win it all. And you know, just the way he was talking, you can tell this guy. You know what? He knows that, you know, there's going to be big baggage, because you remember sometimes you get players with big signings and like big money signings, and they can crumble and stuff like that. This guy just seems like, you know what? I know what to expect. I know half the world hates me right now, they're going to be jealous like Newcastle fans and all them kind of thing there. But you know what, I'm ready. And what we've got is a brotherhood in that squad where they will look after him, the Virgils, the Ebus, these guys are going to look after him on the pitch. All he has to do is just integrate well. And you know what? Yeah, I'll just land on saying that he's going to be successful for us. You know what I mean? Keep away from injuries, just slowly get him into the team, get him into full thing. Next season for sure, this guy's going to be the top scorer in the Premier League.
Well, and the thing is, bro,
I can almost see him in my mind's eye scoring in the Champions League final. Don't know what stadium we're in. The champions.
Yeah, but don't you reckon the away fans? You watch, but imagine Isak comes on. 15 minutes left on Sunday. Yeah, you watch the Burnley fans boo him. That's what's going to happen with Isak when he plays for us. The away fans are going to boo him. Yeah, they'll do that.
Yeah.
It's an easy one, isn't it? It's an easy one for them to do. Oh, easy one. Boo him. He booed.
You know what? I think which is great about, especially, the fan base that gets to the traveling supporters that get to go to the games on the road. The great thing about that is that they're so loud at so many of the venues. Sometimes at the venues, they're louder than the actual crowd is, especially especially since so often we're winning or we're beating the team so poignantly that they've already taken some of the life out of the crowd already, and him getting booed will probably end up being something where the supporters will acknowledge the fact that they've got to cheer even louder to make sure.
It made me laugh a bit, the Newcastle fans, because it didn't go unnoticed that they did Wissa did exactly the same thing to Brentford that Isak did to them. So it's not like they're coming from this position of being spotless sort of thing. They were looking for Wissa and they were happy for him to pull his stunt with Brentford and say, I'm not playing in these first few games.
You know what, Lee? You remember Charlie Austin, the QPR player? What he said was, why are Newcastle fans going over the top against Isak when their club's doing the same with Wissa? And none of the people who was in the studio could answer that question. And Charlie Austin was the only guy out of all the media guys who actually said something like that. And stuck up for Isak a little bit.
Yeah. Do you know what? He's a big Liverpool fan, though. That's the thing, JK. He's a big Charlie Austin's a massive Liverpool fan, and I think obviously he's not biased like some others are. But you know what? He's obviously gonna back Isak. But to be fair, he's right. I mean, and you're right. Wissa's not even playing tomorrow. I don't think he's fit enough. But But
it was just a bigger story. The Isak one than the Wissa one. Obviously, bigger player, bigger fee, moving between bigger clubs.
Do you know what, Lee? The thing is, all right. I think with Isak, it's quite simple. This guy, like I said, he's got magic. He's got magic on his day. He's unplayable. Yeah, we have to look at obviously that goal he scored against us, where just like slipped the ball past Van Dijk and just shot it in the top corner. That's how you shut people up, and I think he's got that in his locker. And I don't think, I think maybe the first couple of games he might just try to find his feet. But trust me, the only way to shut people up, even Newcastle fans, is just papping goals in the top bins, and he's got that in his locker. So
we're
not even concerned about this boy.
Let me say this because we are going to talk about Isak. Arteta had some words about Liverpool. I think he's trying to do his version of Klopp and saying that his team is the underdog now because Mikel Arteta just admitted Liverpool are the strongest after closing the window of Alexander Isak for 125 million and Florian Wirtz. His exact
good times, man.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
His exact vibe is Liverpool recruited the two most decisive players on the market. Arsenal have.
Yep, Arsenal we did it at last.
3 straight
he's not
seasons.
Wrong.
No, he's not, and that's why, hearing him saying that is something of a measure of respect. But they've been runner-ups 3 straight seasons. Pundits like Gary Neville still believe that they will win Gary Neville still thinks that they'll win this year, but Arteta's tone was clear. He said they were already very strong. We need to look at ourselves and be better than them, meaning Liverpool. He even framed our 1-0 win as a magic moment for them. That's his quote. He said it was a magic moment deciding a game that's 8 out of 10 times a draw, meaning Arsenal think they're close, but they know Liverpool's ceiling just got higher. So across town, another person that had some very, very interesting words was Pep Guardiola, who said politely, he said politely when asked, and this is something I expected, I expected him to say this. If he didn't say this, then I'm sure you'd have trouble at home, technically. But he politely pushed back on Slot calling Isak the best striker alive. Erling, he said, quote, is a bit above. Isak must be top because of what Liverpool paid. That was a little shot at us. But Pep's right on one thing. It's a game of opinions. For me, Isak's toolkit, link play, channel runs, pressing intelligence, finishing with both feet, makes him the more rounded footballer, in my opinion. Even if Haaland remains the game's most devastating finisher out there, since he has so many goals. But go ahead, Baz. What do you think? If you want to comment on Arteta or perhaps comment either or.
To be fair, Arteta, you know something, yeah. I mean, sometimes these things can go there can be disadvantages in it. They could just be whatever. But what he's saying is right. We are the best team. There was a magic moment, because it was a magic moment. Let's not get it twisted. Half the time that game finishes a draw. And you know what? We were lucky enough to have someone that's got that in our locker. But that's what it's about, building a squad that you got these magic moments, because it was Szoboszlai that took this, and obviously the season before last and all the rest of it, people still have their opinions on Szoboszlai. And now, with Trent off, obviously at Madrid and stuff we got a great free kick taker. We just never saw it. Now the responsibilities are on him, and he can do those magic moments. And I think he's right. I think he's right. And to be fair, with what Pep Guardiola was saying about Isak and that, he can say what he wants, because at the end they bought Haaland. I know was on a it was a cheaper fee, but they're paying him stupid money. So there is a factor that they've overpaid themselves for a striker. And to be fair, Haaland is someone that is going to be interesting, because Kevin De Bruyne is not here no more, innit? That's been his main source of goals at Man City. I'm not disrespecting Haaland, because he is a goal scorer, but what happens when we play against them? When we cut the supply to Haaland, he doesn't do nothing. And someone like Isak now is definitely an all-round better player than Haaland, because he can create goals. Like you said, he can do all these things. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't faze me at all. I mean, it's good. Great recognizes great, and game recognizes game. And to be fair, I'm quite happy now, because back in the day with the underdogs tag, it kind of sort of helps Liverpool. But I think we're established now, where you can say what you want. You know what I mean? We focus on one game at a time, and we win those games at a time. And people lose games or we draw, but we've got the winning mentality, which we do. Then we're going to achieve greatness. And you do need players that have bits of magic in your team. Look at Salah, for example. Salah has a lot of the time he's quiet, but then a moment of magic, bam, we win, we score.
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes on the score sheet against Burnley again after missing out against Arsenal for a goal. I wouldn't be surprised if he got back in the goal scoring stakes on Sunday.
Ekitike. Yeah, Ekitike didn't even play that bad, to be fair. I thought against Arsenal, he was good. He was good. Right. He wasn't at his best. We haven't seen him at his best yet. We've seen great, glimpses of the future, and I think obviously he had a goal disallowed, but he's a great player, and I think he is going to probably have a better chance with remember Arsenal are great, good defensively, and obviously, maybe Burnley might not be so great, but we've got some great players that can make differences now. That moment of magic you had with Szoboszlai, you could get that with Ekatike, you can get that with Salah, you can get that with Gakpo, you can get that with Wirtz. We're in a great position, man. We're in such a great position, but it's also important to realize that we're still not yet there. We're just basically getting into the groove. You judge in 10 games in it, or just around that sort of time. But so far, so good.
Yeah, I understand. I understand us going from, now that we're spending the money like a lot of people have been wanting us to do. Now that we have an absolutely behemoth of a team, and we're starting to see the cracks, in the facade that is City, which is obviously our biggest competitor. I don't want to totally diss our Arsenal, but Arsenal still have to get over that hurdle to really make us believe that they are at the level of what City has done. But I think the difference is with City and Arsenal is that Arsenal has never taken us to a 97 or 99 point total in points just to fall short.
Well, they have, to be fair, 12, not in the Premier League, but do you remember the time when Michael Thomas scored that goal that broke our hearts?
Oh,
yeah. But to be fair though, I do think Arsenal will be our main competitors this season. Obviously, Man City, Man City 12th, innit? That they will have that mad moments where they'll just go game after game after game because they got a great manager. But when you look at Arsenal, if they do get there, if Arteta, and I've been watching a lot of content recently, just with Arsenal fans, it is so true that team. If
I will admit, I watch. I was just saying, I'll admit that I do watch. I watch almost more Arsenal stuff than I do Liverpool stuff.
Yeah, I like to hear what our enemies have got to say in it. And to be fair, let's not get it twisted. Yeah, they were good in the first half of that game. We didn't look like we were getting anywhere near them. Yeah, like in terms of penetrating their defense and stuff like that. But what I'd say with them is if they play without shackles, they are a good team. And to be honest with you, they've got strength in depth now, and they've got a gunman. That's to be judged to see if he can actually do it in a Premier League. But so far, Arsenal still look very difficult. They didn't give us an easy game for sure. So I still think that they potentially are our closest, are slightly ahead than Man City are. And then you've got the chasing pack of Man City, Chelsea, and potentially Tottenham. But we should be okay. But obviously, I think Arsenal are the team that are the ones that we need to stay clear of because they will eventually get it right.
Yeah. What do you think, Lee? What do you think?
Sorry,
I'll give you the question. I already know. The underdog status, basically, with that Arsenal is now taking on, and I get that. I get your point with saying that there has been moments when Arsenal have, ruined the script for us, but there's been very few. I'm just trying to say that there's a difference in what we had to do against City in trying to keep pace. As in, not many times, not many clubs have gone to the levels that we've gone to and had such exceptional seasons where we would have won the Prem in many other seasons, where our second place finish was better than some teams that won the Premier League previously. And City has pushed us to those levels. Arsenal, not so much, but again,
going by the early exchanges of this season, those 3 games, I think they will run us close maybe closer than last season. They'll take it closer to the end of the season this time. But I think it will click into gear for them at some point. Gyökeres will start scoring goals. How many he'll score, I don't know. I'm not predicting that. But they've made some. Zubimendi as well, obviously. And there's obviously Ezra's come in. I am expecting them to push us this season, though. Whether they can go all the way, I'm not quite sure. I'm not surprised to hear him banging that drum about being the underdog or whatever. Like, he'll try anything. Only we've seen he'll try anything on the pitch. Show off the pitch he will as well. Starting to characterise them as being a plucky underdog. If that's the road he wants to go down, have at it.
I know that JK mentioned this player as being the player that takes us from a good to possibly a great transfer window. I think that we had a great transfer window already, to be honest with you, even without. And I think it still is possibly, I still think it is the best window we've ever had in the Premier League, at least, with the amount of talent and the amount of superb signings that we got in one window. But Arne Slot confirmed what we all knew, basically, and that is Liverpool were very close to Marc Guéhi on deadline day. The fee was around $35 million. The medical was underway. He even had like an exit video filmed already for his exit from Crystal Palace. And then Crystal Palace pulled the plug without a replacement. Slot's line was, quote, it'd be ridiculous to deny we were close. We'd like to sign him. We tried. He also praised the current group, though, Ibu, Virgil, Gomez, and even Leone. I've heard it pronounced Leone, but Leone. Plus, he praised the midfield screen of Endo and Gravenberch, by the way. It's a miss, basically, is what the translation is coming across to me, but not a crisis, I think. Palace boss Glasner. Why I'm bringing up the story is because apparently Palace boss, there were some stories out there that said that he had said he was going to resign or he was going to leave if he didn't if Crystal were to sell the player and the likes. He set the record straight. Apparently, he says he never threatened to quit. His argument to the chairman, Steve Parish, was purely sporting related. He spoke about selling your captain with 15,000 Premier League minutes while adding a 19-year-old with less than 1,000 League One minutes would have been short-term unimaginable. Parish chose squad stability over money. That's at least what he praised them on. He praised Guéhi about staying and remaining the captain, being fully focused. His English display backed that up, by the way. But for Liverpool, January's tricky. No pre-contract moves with a Premier League club. A fee in the summer is plausible, but competition will be fiercer as soon as the January window opens. Subtext for Slot: we won't force it. We'll be smart. That's what he said, quote unquote. I would like to say, I see Lee just mentioned, Lee Wiskett just mentioned something about Leone. The reason why I don't think that this is a crisis, it would have been fantastic to get Guéhi. However, why I don't think this is a crisis is Guéhi's going to deserve and desire minutes, especially with England coming up. It would have been a little bit tougher to do so with what we've had, what we're allotted to give with Konate and trying to get Leone eventually cycled into the mix as well. But why I don't think it's I don't think it's a crisis, nor do I think it's a negative, is because I am excited to see what Leone has to bring. We all, not many people, I'm sure, were clamoring for Kwanzaa to start last year or the year before that. And, he started out of need, necessity. But he proved to be a very, very capable center half, and not only a capable center half, but a player that's going on. The Bundesliga is playing well. And albeit some of his play last year for us kind of got in his head, and he was kind of a player that was a little bit lost in his emotions. But I really think this is a unique time that we could utilize these players, basically. What are your thoughts on the Guéhi thing? Would you wait for Guéhi on a free league, or would you pivot in January, for instance, and go?
I'd like him in January if it's all possible, just to cover ourselves for any eventualities in the second half of the season. But I'd be content also to get him on a free. I would enjoy the feeling of us getting him gratis. But if we could have him in January, I'd still desire that, because it will give us cover. And it gives him the sooner he's here, the sooner he settles in. Give him a chance to win something as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We have
Baz win back. More, because he's already been up to the winning, hasn't he, with his Palace side.
Are we talking about Marc Guéhi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether to have him in January or the summer.
Yeah, well, that's a league. You can answer that as well. But my other question to you was going to be, I just went on about how I'm very excited to see what Leone's going to bring us. I think that by Guéhi not being here, it's going to give minutes, it's going to give possible minutes to Leone that he probably wouldn't have gotten if he was going to be fifth choice, okay? Because honestly, I still would have had Gomez as our fourth choice center half, even over Leone, okay? But without him there, without Guéhi here, Leone has those minutes. And I'm excited to see that, especially since we got what we got to see from a player like Kwanzaa when he was given those minutes. And it did make a difference, not only in his career, but it also gave us some insight as to, wow, there's a real player there, and Leone is looked at even higher, as in terms of what they speak about him in Italy, at least, as being a very, very promising young player. That question is to you, Baz, or at least that statement is to you. I think he might.
Sorry, yeah, come back to me on that one. Sorry, I just.
I'll ask JK that question then. How big a swing is Leone's emergence on this decision, basically?
Well, none of us really know anything about the lad, For me, right now, we've got 4 centre backs, and on top of that, we've got Gravenberch who can play there. So that's all we've got until maybe January. If Guéhi thinks, okay, we give him 10 million, he comes. But I don't like that, because for me, if Crystal Palace are playing relegation sort of game, part of the table, the last thing they want to do is get rid of Guéhi for 10 million. So hence why for me it'll be next summer. I think the reason why, like for me, bro, the Guéhi deal was like this: if they sold Guéhi for 35 million, they will get relegated, and that will cost them hundreds and hundreds of million. So they thought, you know what, I'd rather keep him for a year and let him go for free. Yeah.
Well, let him go for free is going to be something, considering they finally got Europe, and letting him go for free could mean that they could possibly fall back into like a mid-table, or they were a mid-table team, but fall even deeper maybe if they're not careful.
Yeah, I feel the Leone thing is quite an important factor, as to how well he does and how quickly he can adapt. But at the end of the day, we did want to buy Guéhi anyway, so it's that's just a fact. We wanted to buy him, and I believe we still do. It's just not going to happen yet. But it is, an interesting part of it. The Leone thing, to see how much time he gets, when he gets it, who he plays alongside, what team he plays against, etc., etc. It's going to be good to watch. And I just hope that it comes off. Hope it comes off well, because if it does, we're in for the treat, aren't we?
Yep. Exactly what I mean. Because those minutes would have been given to someone. And we're all talking about rotation. If Lamonte was here, he'd be probably yelling it from the top rafters. Rafters, excuse me. Rotate. He probably would have brought up Endo as being one of those options as well as myself. But I'm excited. I'm still optimistic about our defense. I just think that if anything, the unique thing about our defense right now is we have to see and get Konate in form, mentally in form as well. I don't think he's mentally all in at the moment, and that's where we're kind of falling short. Is some of those disconnects, and I don't call it bozo moments. I know people some use that word, but he has had some of question.
No, I'll just quickly say about Konate, bro. Me and you know we've had enough talks about Konate, bro. We've known for a long time something's not right with this guy.
Yeah,
he has games where you think, wow, what a player. I think against Arsenal, solid, clean sheet, job done. But then in the games, he's letting the ball hit him on the back of his back and set up Newcastle to score. So concentration. And I said, what happens in life is if you're a footballer and another club's interested in you, the guilty conscience kicks in. So he's thinking, you know what? As everyone's singing Konate, my name or whatever, and they do that noise, when Konate does a challenge, they make that woo 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 nose, like he's aggressive. And he's thinking, you know what? I ain't gonna be here. Mm-hmm.
I am, to a certain extent, expecting Ibu to show his class in the coming months.
I'm hoping he does.
Regardless of where his future lies. Obviously players want to play well for professional pride, and like he knew himself. Like obviously didn't need them first two performances, but not the best.
No, not.
But
far from.
It was subsequently improved against Arsenal from the whole side. We defended really well as a team, more than we had in the first two games. And I am looking for him to show us his best form. From here on in, I want to see a lot more of his best performances. So we look really, because that's when we look our strongest, when we're nice and when we look tight at the back, and we're not giving up sloppy chances. I enjoy that. Yes, I like us, running forward and that, but I don't mind us giving up the odd chance. It's just when we give away really sloppy, bad chances and too many of them, it's too much for my heart to take sometimes. You know what I mean? Maybe a little more of a relaxed ride sometimes.
Yeah. I think
football's meant to be exciting.
True.
Say again? Okay,
football's meant to be exciting, like for me that Newcastle 3-2, bro, that was just, you can't ask for better than that. What a game.
Yeah. We used to have one of the, what are those, the shock paddles that you have for when you have a heart attack, like in Captain Chaos, there's plenty of times that he gave us like moments of heartache and maybe even heart joy. I guess I don't even know if that's a word or not, but
I think that was a program in England, Heart Joy or something.
Heart Joy or something, maybe it was.
Something like that. Something Joy. Maybe someone in the chat knows.
Sounds like
Joy. I think it's called Heart Joy. I'm gonna find out.
Let's do some weekend predictions, and I'll do them by kickoff order, basically. So we'll get a speed round. We'll get who wins, score. I'm not going to tell scorers or anything like that. Just score predictions. I'll give you a little bit of a narrative in my perspective, and I'll also get the panel's answers as well. And let me make sure. Let me do this real quick. Let me get. I'm going to put your scores in I'm going to put your scores in, or notate your scores for these as well, so that they can be added to mine. And we'll see who did the best at the end of the weekend or something like that. Let me just make sure I get this all correct and ready. First off, Forest versus Arsenal. Forest is a philosophical pivot, if we want to call it that. It will be a bumpy ride. New demands on the center halves, higher line, chaos versus control, basically, with the way that they play. If they play anything like Ange's Spurs team, means maybe some early growing pains. Look, I would like to pick Arsenal to lose this game. I just can't pick them to do it. I had the score being 3-1 Arsenal. Lee, what's your score for this game?
Arsenal Forest. I think Arsenal win, sadly, with the disruption, should we say, at Forest of a new manager coming in, and he's only been there a few days. You know what I mean? He's hardly had time to speak to them.
No new manager bounce?
I think it's too soon for the new manager bounce. The new manager's got to get his feet under the table first. I'd love it to be otherwise. If it would have been Nuno's Forest, I might have fancied them to.
It is at Forest, by the way. Lee Wizkid is correct. It is at Forest grounds. So, if anything,
You sure? I thought it was at Arsenal. I thought this was at the Emirates.
No, this is at Nottingham Forest.
Okay. All right. I'll give them a draw, Forest, if they're at home. I'd say Ange gets a draw.
No, Arsenal are at home, bro.
Is Arsenal at home?
Played away. Yeah, Arsenal at home, yeah. It's early kickoff as well, yeah.
Yeah, I thought Arsenal were at home. That's why I favour them to win. If it would have been at the Forest, it's still called the City Ground, isn't it? Their ground.
Yeah.
If it was been at the City Ground, I might have gave them a draw out of it. But at Arsenal, I can see Arsenal just doing their Arsenal thing to them and set piecing them to death.
It is at Arsenal, you're right.
Yeah, it's true.
Let me make sure I have all mine set up right. Fulham, home. Newcastle, home. West Ham, home. Burnley, home. I knew that one. And City is home. Okay, so all the rest are right. I don't know why for some reason I had Forest versus Arsenal as opposed to Arsenal versus Forest, because I always had the home team first. But okay. So Lee, what you're going with what? What's your score?
I'd say Arsenal.
It is at Arsenal. It's at the Emirates.
Yeah, I'd say Arsenal will get 3 goals and Forest will get 1. 3-1 I'll go for.
Okay, so you're going 3-1 too. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
JK, how about for you?
Yeah, it's called Lovejoy Wizkid. Lovejoy was the name of the program, bro. I'm going Desmond 2-2.
Okay.
That's sounding perfect then.
Gaz, what about yourself?
Arsenal playing home, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. I looked it up.
Okay. To be honest with you, I don't. I think Forest will be a little bit of a mess initially because obviously they play so different with Ange and stuff like that. I think it's going to be 2-0. I don't see Arsenal conceding. Their defense is just very strong, to be fair.
Okay.
I do think that it'll be a comfortable 2-0 win for them, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. 2-0. All right. Well, the next game I have on here is Bournemouth versus Brighton. It's a 3:00 kickoff on Saturday. 2 track meet teams when it comes to being able to score and liking to run and get in front of in front of their competition. Bournemouth's aggressive press versus Brighton's free scoring away trends. I say it's trending towards goals in this one, but much like JK's last assertion, I'm going to say this is where Desmond gets his sermon. I have it 2-2.
That was a good one.
JK, what about yourself?
Me, I would go. They're very similar sorts. I don't know. I'm going to go 3-3. Let's go 3-3.
Okay. You got a lot of goals going. Got you. Baz, what about you?
What was the game? Sorry.
The game is Bournemouth versus Brighton, and that one is at Bournemouth.
That's a difficult one because they're both good teams. I'm going to go Brighton 2-1.
2-1 Brighton. Oh wow. Okay. Brighton with the win on the road. Okay, and Lee. What about you?
Who's Brighton playing?
Gosh, you guys are so funny. All right, for the third time, it is Bournemouth versus Brighton, and they're at Bournemouth.
Yeah, I'm going for Bournemouth, mate. I say Bournemouth will beat the most recent conquerors of Man City, Brighton. I think Bournemouth will start quite well and a good team. I fancy them to edge that one.
What's the score?
Is it at Brighton? Yeah.
Is that Bournemouth?
Bournemouth. Yeah, then definitely Bournemouth. I say 2-1. 2-1 Bournemouth.
All right. Got a little bit of we got two.
I'll name Evan Nielsen as a scorer as well.
We're pretty split on that one. Two draws and a win for Brighton and a win for Bournemouth. Lee Wizkid, you can play along at home too. Lee Wizkid's got it 2-1 to the Cherries. Okay, all right. Crystal Palace versus Sunderland. Whichever team I say first is the home team. Crystal Palace versus Sunderland. 3:00 start on this game on Saturday. Glasner is pound for pound elite when it comes to coaching. That I will give him. But injuries are something of a factor in this one. Wharton apparently is doubtful in this game. So you're gonna see some tweaks to the lineup.
Sarr as well.
Sarr. Yeah, Sarr.
He's been playing well this season. I like him. He's a good little player, man.
Yeah.
Good little player. So he's injured. So 2 of their main players injured.
Yeah, basically. I'd say keep an eye out for Justin Devaney for getting some shots in. But for this one, not a lot of scoring power from Crystal Palace, but Mateta might get one for them. Sunderland will get something of a goal or some type of result out of this one, I think. I have it 1-1. What would you say, Lee? Crystal Palace versus Sunderland.
I go for Palace and no, a draw actually. I'll have a draw for that.
Okay.
Sunderland scrap their way to a draw, methinks.
What's your score?
0-0.
Wow.
Bit of a ball draw.
It's a nice boring game. How about for you, Baz?
It's that seller's part, that one.
Yeah.
3-1 to Crystal Palace.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
I think Crystal Palace ain't an easy place to play, and obviously you're coming from the northeast.
I've said that, Baz. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tell that to Pops. If you're ever on a panel with Pops, or if you're in the chat with him, tell him Selhurst Park is not an easy place to play.
No, the crowd is loud, man.
Yeah, it's got that old traditional
football thing,
Yeah, it's
The vibe
it's
there.
deep,
Yeah.
it's deep south, man. But to be fair, I just think Crystal Palace, they're established Premiership club. They've got a good manager. They've obviously going to be on the buzz. They've kept Guéhi as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, they don't have Eze anymore, but they do have some great players in that team.
Yeah.
So as a gunman as well. So I think as much as Sunderland have been good so far, I just think Palace will just show their class in this one. So I'm going to go 3-1.
Okay. 3-1. JK, what about yourself?
I'm
What
going
you
to
got
go
on this?
Palace 2-1. Palace 2-1, yeah.
Wow. All right. So we got two picking Palace to win, and you got two of us picking for draws in this game. Okay. Next one is one that might hopefully doesn't get Lee in trouble, but next one is Everton versus Villa. It's a 3 p.m. start. There's no more dice ball at Everton, so Moises has them really clicking lately. Everton are opening up. Grealish has raised the tempo. I think he's been a very big addition. I think Grealish has been such an enormous addition to their team, primarily because he's able to be the Grealish of Villa as opposed to the Grealish of Manchester City. And it is kind of interesting that he will be going up against his old squad, who he's still beloved by. I have this going Everton's way. I'm going to go 3-2 in this game. We'll start off with Lee. Lee, what do you have?
I think Everton have got it in them to beat. Who was against? Sorry, Everton.
Everton versus Aston Villa.
Villa, yeah. Villa's had a shit start, and that could always end. It could be a good
We need
performance.
this game. We need this game.
I don't see it. If this is at the new stadium, Everton's new stadium, I see a win for Everton in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. To continue Emery's early season woes.
Okay, so what do you have it at?
Oh, I'd say 2-0.
2-0.
2-0 to the Toffee man.
Pickford has got his clean sheet, is according to Lee. All right. Baz. Everton.
No, he goes off with a broken leg. Somebody slides in on him and breaks his leg. So Pickford is in goal to keep the clean sheet.
Oh my goodness.
Revenge, I'll have Virgil.
Your dad's not gonna be happy hearing that, man. Baz, what do you got on this one?
You know me, I'm an Everton hater, so I hope they just get smashed at their new stadium. I hope Pickford gets his. No, I won't say that. It's just all right. This is an interesting one. I want Everton to lose, but I don't know. I don't think they're that bad in terms that they've played all right so far. Aston Villa have yet to start. Playing ball. I do think. Do you know what? I'm not going to give Everton the opportunity to get 3 points, so I'm going to say a draw. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 scoring draw, and I think Grealish gets a goal.
Okay. 2-2. Desmond makes another appearance. Okay. How about for you, JK?
Yep, 1-1.
All right. Oh, Lee, I like that, by the way. Lee Wizkid, I like that. He's saying Elliot maybe. That'd be great. I would love to see that. Okay, so next game. Fulham versus Leeds. It's another 3:00 start. This one's going to be a weird one because it's two teams that are not exactly – they're not playing poorly, but they're not playing great either. They're kind of like mid-table form. I'm going to go Fulham 2-1 win in this one. It's not an easy place to play. I don't think any place is easy place to play on the road. And Leeds has some issues in trying to get some real offensive scoring power for themselves. I'll go 2-1 Fulham. Give it to some of my Americans out there too. Baz, let's start with you this time. What do you think?
Only because I live in Leeds, Fulham will probably win. I'd say I'm going to go. I do have a little soft spot for Leeds, to be fair. Do you know what? I'm going to be so wrong in this, but I'm saying 2-1 to Leeds.
2-1 Leeds. All right.
Yeah, I don't mind Leeds. Like there's that little connection of when we sang Champions to them in might have been 1970. No, Everton won it in 69. Maybe they beat us to the title by quite comfortably. Like, but we sang Champions. You know, when they thingied with the trophy, the cup, and like Jack Charlton and a few other players said it was magnificent. It was some gesture. And there's always been a little bit of respect from their fans that know about it, like, which I assume a lot of them do. I don't know if any of the new ones do, but there's always been an amount of respect. They were a very good side in them days, like, a bit dirty, but they were a quality side, mate. Very unlucky not to win the European Cup against Bayern in 75 in the final.
Okay.
Their game.
Lane, all right. So then what's that bring you to in your feeling about present day league?
You got West Ham, did you say?
Fulham. They play at the Cottage.
A draw. I think a draw there.
Oh, yeah, for a draw. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I'm just going on about the bit of respect for their title winning side. It was a nice thing.
I thought you were going to say they're going to muster up a big win at the Cottage, but okay. What's the score?
Desmond.
Okay. Got you.
This one's
JK,
not
how about for you?
I'm going to go 3-1 Fulham.
3-1 Fulham. All right. Easy enough. 3-1. All right. Did you want to say something, Lee? You were trying to say something?
No.
Oh, no. Okay. All right. Next up, Newcastle. The some of the chat's sweetheart at the ball, Newcastle. Apparently maybe even some of our chat side chick, Newcastle, but all the same versus Wolves. They host the Wolves this time around. They've got their guys. They've got Visa. They've gotten Walter Made. They need this win. They're sitting on, I think, 2 points, in the standings. Let's say 2 points. Yeah. Sitting at a -1 differential with 2 points. Newcastle, the darling of the transfer window for some, sit in 17th place at the moment, by the way. 17th place, and are only in 17th place because of goal differential. They have -1. Fulham have -2. What's even crazier is that Villa is at -4 and has 1 point this season. That's why it's so crucial for Villa to get this win at Everton. But how about the Wolves? Because they sit in 20th place with no points, -6 differential in goals, 3 games played. Do they break out of this slump and get this win? And Newcastle, I say no. 2-0 Newcastle. What about you, JK?
Yeah, I'll go with a 4-2 Newcastle win.
4-2 Newcastle win.
Yeah.
All right. Baz, how about you?
Do you know what?
Newcastle's at home. Newcastle's at
Yeah,
home.
that's you see that's the problem because I don't want that dusty team to do anything. I want them to lose this, but Wolves are terrible,
They are.
unfortunately. Yeah. No, this is going to be. You see, Newcastle. They've been playing really well. I know they're gonna. I think Gordon's not playing in it through the suspension, so
No, they still got
um,
2 more games to serve out in the suspension.
yeah. So they'll have their new striker there, the big lanky Peter Crouch B-Tech version. So I think Newcastle win. I think they win by 2-0.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got the same score as me.
Unfortunately.
Looking on my paper. I'm just joking. Lee, what do you got?
Which fixtures this one was talking about now? Sorry.
It's Newcastle versus Wolves.
Newcastle Wolves.
Queen's Park.
I say another draw. I'm going for another draw there. This is at Newcastle.
Yeah, St James Park.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a draw. 1-1.
1-1. Okay. All right. Put that in there for you. 1-1. All right. West Ham versus Spurs is next up. Everyone knows that I'm very, very bullish on Spurs this season with the new coach and also with the new emergence of some real quality signings that they brought in. Kudus is going to be obviously going up against his former club. So Derby Energy is going to be there, but he thrives on hostility. Expect a little bit of a tough match, I think, in this one. I wouldn't be surprised if Richarlison kind of gets into a tussle with someone or not. 2-1 I have, but I have it 2-1 Spurs. Lee, what do you have this score at? West Ham is at home. West Ham is at home. Whatever team I say first is the home team.
Yeah, I think Spurs might get the win there. Spurs might squeeze a win out of that because they were in decent form before they lost to Bournemouth. They looked okay, and they seem to be getting it with Frank's just like little changes. Well, not little changes, big changes though. So yeah, I'll back Spurs to win away there. 3-2. I'll say 3-2. 5 goals in this.
It's a lot of goals, yeah. Got Bowen lighting it up probably or something. All right. How about for you, Baz?
Do you know what? I rate Tottenham as well because I do think that they got a great manager and they brought in some great players for sure. However, it's a London derby and it's at West Ham. Do you know what? I'm going to go different from you guys. I'm actually going to say West Ham are going to win this. And I think they win it 2-1.
All right. I like it. Okay. That would be huge for West Ham, considering West Ham has not necessarily been tearing it up this season so far.
Yeah, they have won one game though, so they've won one game, but I know they're on -4 goals and stuff like that. But I just think that at West Ham and it being a derby and the Kudus thing, I do think West Ham will just about do this one. It's one of those baptism of fires. You know, when you play against Everton, Liverpool, it's kind of like it can go any way, and I just think that has a feel to that.
Yeah, I haven't looked too hot so far, have the West Ham? I mean, he's lost Kudus, Potter. I think they could struggle early on. I think their struggles could continue early this season, and then maybe he'll sort of like,
but there's surprises though in the Premier League.
Yeah, he'll pull it round after a few months, like. But they have had a dodgy start. They look shit when I seen them. They look bloody hopeless when I watched them.
Yeah. But it's that again. It's that derby. In it. I'm just looking at it on form. Really, Tottenham should blitz them. Do you know what I mean? They've got the PSG striker on loan. They've got obviously Kudus and amongst others. So they do look. I just have this feeling that West Ham might just do one of those surprises or something like that. It might even be a draw, but I just think that they might just win this one, or maybe even hold Spurs.
Okay. JK.
Let's go with a 3-1 West Ham win.
Come on, that's what I'm talking about.
There you go. All right. 3-1. Got you locked and loaded. Dang. I'm the only person that picked Spurs in this one, I guess. Because Lee, you said West Ham 3-2, right?
No, I said Spurs 3-2.
Oh, okay.
I said Frank, the old Franken first.
Spurs,
Get back to
where
he had in the first two games. Yeah.
Okay. I wrote it down the way you said it, but that's normally because the home team's first and the away team second. That's why. Okay, 2-3. All right. So we're split on this one. All right. The late game on Saturday is Brentford hosting Chelsea. Raska's Chelsea are machine-like, calm, controlled, ruthless, and banker figures. And I do mean banker figures as 74 charges. But anyway, I still have Chelsea winning this one, unfortunately. I have them winning 2-0 to the Cheaters. 2-0 to the Cheaters. JK, let's go to you first this time. What you want?
Chelsea, who was it, bro?
It's at Brentford.
At Brentford,
I 0-2, if you want to put it that way. That's what I have.
Okay. Might get an upset there. Let's have a look. It's a derby, sort of, 2-1 Brentford.
2-1 Brentford. Gotcha. Baz.
Where is it? Is it at Stamford Bridge?
It's at Brentford.
Oh, it's at Brentford.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 5-1. 5-1 Chelsea. Yeah, I know. But I don't know. You see, Chelsea, I don't know. Chelsea are just dangerous, man. They you don't know what you're going to get with them. You have a Cole Palmer on a mad day. It's problems. You know what I mean? I don't know.
He's injured, I think, right now. Yeah.
Is he injured?
Yeah, he's injured, bro. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Delete that 12th man. Sorry, bro.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Are you saying Palmer? Palmer is injured, I think.
Okay. Then it's going to be 2-1. 2-1 Chelsea.
Oh, wow. Did you have Palmer scoring like a hat trick or something?
You know what? I rate this guy really high. I don't want.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like this guy.
Know. I don't know. I don't. I just, for some reason, I just can't connect to him as a footballer. He ain't my cup of tea. Yeah.
I think he's very inconsistent, though. He's very inconsistent.
That's the thing.
He can, but
when he's on his
day,
I like him. Yeah, I think he's good. I rate him. When he's good, he's really good, and he's hard to stop. But,
for Chelsea, they have Bashil's out, Colwell's out, obviously. Lavia. Gosh.
They've still got plenty enough there to pose a good
He's had
side.
a tough run. Lavia's out. Modric is suspended. Cole Palmer. Yeah, I know exactly. I mean, you know that he's still he's still in the top 10 most expensive transfers in the Premier League history.
Oh, mate, he's been one of the worst loads of crap ever. I mean, it's just when I've seen him for Chelsea, he just doesn't look like he's ever been a player at any point in his life. When I say he's not been a player, I mean a good one.
I know what you mean. It means looks like he had he's still figure out his game type.
Yeah, when he arrived for that fee, it was like, whoa, I can't. And distinctive names, crazy spelling. It's like, I can't wait to see this guy. And he was atrocious. But
Cole Palmer is doubtful, by the way. He's not. So is Bashil, but he's doubtful. So there is a chance he could play, but chances are, when you're doubtful, even if you are doubtful, chances are you're probably not going to start. But who knows?
Yeah, I think the manager said that he's going to rest him. He ain't going to risk it or something like that. I'm sure I read that. But yeah.
Okay, I'm not disputing that at all. Liam Delap is also injured, by the way. But I don't really makes that big of a difference considering that João Pedro has started off very well for them. And Asugo is injured out too.
I have to say it's hard to see anything in this for Brentford, despite them being at home. I can't really see anything but a Chelsea win. But it would be amazing and helpful for us as well if Brentford could put a spoken thing. What is it? What's the bloody saying?
Put a nail in their tire, maybe.
Yeah, one of the things. Little bump in the road for them. It'd be nice.
There you go.
They started with 7 points, haven't they, Chelsea? Which I believe are they in second place? They are, aren't they?
Second place behind Liverpool, Arsenal.
Yeah. So a Brentford result, a draw would be amazing for me. But really, I'm not that arsed. There's one other fixture that I've got my eye on and I've done since.
Okay. Wait, don't say it yet. Don't say it.
Yes, I think we all know what fixture I've got.
We're just finishing up this.
Is that the Gillingham versus Stoke one? Yeah.
That's the one. That one. How did you know? Me Gillingham fetish.
Saturday, what is your score for?
Imagine Lee there, man, watching Gillingham versus Stoke, man.
Yeah, with the poster of Gillingham on my wall. The squad.
Makes sense. To each is their own. But Lee, what do you got as a score?
Let's see. 2-1.
Okay. 1-2.
Yeah, 2-1. 2-1 for Chelsea.
Yep. So we all have Brentford is picked by JK. We all have it being a Chelsea win. Other than that, all right. Well, then there's only 2 games on Sunday, and that's the 2:00 game and the 4:30 game. Okay. All right.
12 is gonna pick the last one.
I think he is a Newcastle supporter. I can see the kit in the thing. Big up Newcastle. We'll see. I think you'd be better served saying Visa is better than Isak. I think Visa is going to outperform Walter this year. That's just my perspective. I'm saying that I think Visa will have a better season than Walter Mate. Walter Mate will. I'm not saying he's not going to do well or not. I'm not saying he's going to do well. I'm not going to say he's going to do poorly. I'm just saying that I think Visa will have a better season of the two. But it's 2 games. Let's take the derby first. I had them in order, but I'll go last. I'll go last or least.
You're such a tease, man.
Yeah. Let's go least likely to be high on our favorite list, and that is 2 teams that we all don't like: Manchester City versus Manchester United. It's the Manchester Derby. Cagey first halves, maybe some overall output dips, maybe as well. This is a game that is kind of, to me, screaming for an upset, possibly. But I'm going to go with what my heart wants as opposed to what my head is telling me. I'm going to say a 1-1 draw.
Interesting.
Originally I was going to go 1-0 City, but
okay.
go ahead, Ben. Tell us what you think.
Me, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Both shit clubs, both dusty Utes. I think I'm gonna go for. It's not going to be easy for Man City, you know. I don't know. I just think it's not going to be easy, but I don't see United winning either. I think this is going to be a 2-2 draw, a quite entertaining 2-2 draw. I just think City are quite rubbish at the back. They do score goals, but then inevitably at some point, one of those signings, Cunha or Sesko or Mbeumo are gonna get some kind of momentum. And I think it could be this game, being a derby and that, they're going to want to, put a good performance. I think it's going to be 2-2. It wouldn't be ruled out to even it being 3-3. I'd say 2-2. I'll go 2-2.
2-2 is a good shout. It's the kind of game that Desmond loves to preach at. JK.
I'm going to go City 4-1.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. That's Pep saying, put some respect on my name. All right.
Man United, bro.
All right. Lee, what you got on this one?
Do you even have to ask me? It's a Man United win, of course. Now, any results possible in this match here could go either way, but I think the most likely result is a draw. But I'm going to go for the United win for Big Rubes to put one over on Guardiola and get 3 points. They're coming off the back of a win, United, as narrow and as debatable as it was, the win over Burnley at Old Trafford. And City are coming off the back of yet another defeat. So I'm hoping that the misery continues. I always want what's best for Liverpool. I'm not asked about anything else. What's best for us? And what's best for us is for Man United to beat their asses and put them 9 points behind us if we win, which is good for me.
So what's the score?
Oh, I say 2-0. No, actually 2-1. City will have to get a goal, won't they, from somewhere.
Okay. I think the best result is a draw, to be honest with you. I always see it as like, if there's two teams playing that I hate or can't or I don't like, I'll say. Hate can be a strong word, I guess. But if it's two teams I don't like, I always go with the draw.
I never mind wanting United to win as long as it does us a favour. Like when they played Arsenal last season, it was like, come on, please win for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be great because see, City, we all know they've won. What is it? I don't know. 19 of the last 20 titles or something fucking stupid. But so they're a rival for me, whereas United aren't. United are nowhere near us, they're nothing. So they can do me a favour and us in general by continuing the misery for City, because it's obviously part of an ongoing thing. I want to continue with Pep Guardiola. I want him to lose less and less faith in his position and question what he's doing there. Has he got the stomach to stay? I'd like him to walk. And then when he does walk, I'd like a load of the players to walk, etc., etc. This is part of an ongoing thing for me. And tomorrow, if it's tomorrow their game, that'll do me nicely. A United win.
It's a Sunday matchup. But yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
Mhm.
Moving on to, I think, which is, even though it's not a derby, it is still a big game for us. Possibly the most, the one that we all have our eyes on. And that's that 2 o'clock start on Sunday. Turfmoor. I said Toughmore. Turfmoor is
That
been tough.
means some bloody TNT.
How is it?
Yeah,
That
it
means
pissed me off when they done that. Like, when Sky used to have them all, and there was just Sky. Then bloody BT appeared. Now it's called TNT, and then they started having a couple of games on Amazon or some shit. Like, I remember, like, there was a derby, and it was on fucking Amazon. I had to go to the pub to see it. It was a good derby, though. We battered them. I think it was the one that got Marco Silva the sack when Origi scored twice.
Well, it will be good to see the game, even if you do have to listen to Rio commentate or give his 2 cents worth, because Turfmoor's been a sticky situation for some this season. Slot ball, though, is going to find a way to get people on the scoring bin. We will have a preview of this game, but I'll just give my score anyway. I have this being 3-0 Liverpool in this game. I'll give my scores in the preview. But what do you have? What do you have this game at? Lee, I'll have to start with you.
Okay. I think a 2-0 win with a goal in each half. Sounds about right. I'll give Hugo the nod for scoring one of them, whether it's the first or the second. I'm not saying, I'm not predicting, but I'll go for the 2-0 win, a goal in each half, and one of them will be from Hugo.
All right.
How's about that for a prediction? I can't predict what the attendance will be like, but
okay, we're not asking for that. You're
you're
off the hook for the attendance. There you go. I think it'll be a sellout. I think everywhere Liverpool goes is a sellout. So, Baz, what's your score?
3-1 Liverpool. Ekatike scores, Salah scores, and go on, Verts as well.
Okay. Don't like seeing us giving up the goal, but okay. To a Burnley squad, that was just highlight more emphasis on our defensive struggles. But all good, all good. JK, how about you?
Mm-hmm. Big game. Bless up Dara in the chat as well. I reckon we're going to win 4-0, bro.
Okay. Wow.
Mm-hmm. That'd be nice.
All right. 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 3-1. Okay. All right. Some good predictions there. Definitely some good predictions. What game do you think is going to be? Which game out of all the scores you given? What's the score you're most confident will be a winner, and what's the one that you're most sketchy on could be a trap? Anyone can answer. It's a free for all known.
So I'll be back again.
Okay.
Well,
Jake.
Man City game for me. I think Man City are going to beat them. So that's 100% guaranteed. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's the one you think's a trap?
Ooh, I reckon could be the Brentford Chelsea game. I said 2-1 Brentford. Derby. Hopefully they can do something. But Chelsea, yeah, good team.
Yeah. Okay.
I predicted a win there for United because that's what my heart wants. But a draw is the more likely result in the Manchester derby, I think, than either of them winning.
It's a better one. It's a better result.
I don't see Arsenal not getting the points at home to Forest, with Forest having a new guy in the door who's not been there longer than 5 minutes, basically. It's not time enough yet for them. I hope it is, but I hope it is, and there's a big bounce on the day, and they're all made up to be playing for the Europa League winning manager, but I just can't see it. And I can't say anything but a Chelsea win at Brentford, because it's not the Brentford of last season, mate. It's not the Brentford with Wissenden and Buemo and Thomas Frank in the dugout. This is Keith Andrews minus them, and Norgard went as well. It ain't the same Brentford team, and Chelsea look good. I wish it were otherwise for that game, but that's the way I see it. Chelsea win for sure.
Okay. All right. We'll get Baz's when he gets back. Look, the final point before we go, because I'm gonna give this another 15 minutes. Going to end on the 2.5 hour mark. Brighton versus Bournemouth. We did do that game, by the way. Quickly, Brighton Bournemouth. I had it as a 2-2 draw, and Lee had it 2-1. Baz had it 1-2. And JK had a 3-3, just so you know.
Yeah, I went for the 2-1 win for Bournemouth on their home ground against Brighton. Irrespective of Brighton just beating Man City before the break, I think Bournemouth on their own ground is particularly good under Iraola. So, yeah, I think I could safely predict a win. Don't know if it'll happen, but I'll predict it.
I'm back.
Okay. Real quick before we move on to the last segment, what game are you most confident of from your predictions, and what game are you think is the biggest trap?
The biggest trap?
Meaning, what game you think is the game that you'll get wrong, that is most likely that you might get wrong?
I think it could be the Spurs game that I'll get wrong. I'm just going on something different. I did predict West Ham to win that one, didn't I? The Liverpool game, I just think Liverpool are going to be too strong for them. I think there's too much of a feel-good factor at Liverpool at the minute. We may not win convincingly. It might not be the greatest game where, we start playing, sexy football.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure we'll beat Burnley.
Okay. Let me get into this last part here, because this one's interesting. It's going to circle back to a question that we had already, or something we already spoke on. But Isak's debut timeline has been speculated by a lot of different shows, a lot of different articles I've been seeing. How Isak fits in, and the likes. Arne Slot struck exactly the right tone, though. He wrote, or at least spoke on, giving massive credit to Thomason, who is the Sweden coach, who gave him basically no overuse. He properly, even despite the fact that Sweden could have obviously used some real impact in their front line. And they simply weren't getting that from their choices that they had there, actually. But he didn't overuse them, which was good. Isak missed a proper preseason in 3 to 4 months, right? Something like that, of team sessions. So minutes will be built gradually. This is the quote that was given. We signed him for 6 years, not 2 weeks. If I take him off early or give him a few minutes, it's for the long-term fitness of the player. I can agree with that completely. A lot of us want to see him play, but we don't want to see him thrown into the fire or something like that. So don't panic if he's eased in, especially amid a brutal fixture. cadence that is coming up because we have a lot of big games coming up. As for Pep's Haaland, a bit above line. Look, Haaland is the game's most explosive finisher. Let's call it that. But Isak's profile, like I spoke on earlier, link play, precious triggers, combination work that we'll see in some real beauty of the word with Verts and Salah, movement that manipulates back lines. I think that makes him the complete footballer in our system. I saw a debate pop up, and I think it was Daps, who's a Manchester City supporter. He's a content creator out there. And there's not many Manchester City supporters, especially ones that actually are Manchester City supporters as opposed to bandwagon Manchester City supporters. But they're different weapons, different ass. For Liverpool, I think Isak's identity will evolve under Slot. He's the perfect blade, the perfect, sword to use in this fight that we're going to be having. I'm going to ask you guys, because Daps got really heated and really emotional about trying to emphasize that he believes that Haaland is the better footballer than Isak. And I just don't see that. I know that some of the stats might not even highlight what I am trying to emphasize, but I just don't see Isak. I don't see Haaland as a more defined. He's a striker, possibly one of the best strikers. Not possibly one of the best strikers. Definitely one of the best strikers in the world. But you can't play Haaland out on the left or the right. You're not going to play him as a winger. You can't have him drop deep and try to be more of that, false nine. He just doesn't have all those techniques in his bag, but he's a phenomenal striker. Some are going to probably argue to say that's what he's paid to do, be a nine, and that's that. What's your feelings on that statement? What do you think? Do you think Isak is better than Haaland as a footballer, or do you think
sure. I don't think there's even a question about it. Haaland's very good at what he does, but he does something quite specific, doesn't he? He hasn't got as much to his game as Isak has. So it's, there's nothing wrong in saying that. I don't think it's that wild an opinion. Mm-hmm. Whoever it was who come out and who was it you said this stuff earlier?
For what? Who said that he's better?
Yeah, you said somebody was.
Oh, sorry.
But anyway, to me,
Daps from Never a Foul was on a panel, and I believe Mons was there, and I believe
Teddy Brewer's fella. Do you mean?
Yeah, there was another guy from Arsenal, and then there was one other person as well. I can't remember who the fourth person was, but they were on a panel, and out of blue, I guess because I have seen the question, but out of the blue somewhat, Daps went on this rant about how Haaland's got more goals, Haaland's got more assists, Haaland's got this and he's got that, and I was like, yeah, I get what you're saying. I just applying eye test to it. I just don't see Haaland as, when I'm speaking to as a footballer terms, I'm speaking about versatility. That's what I'm expressing. Not only a player. I don't think Isak's only a player that can play. He can play more than just nine for us, and he can play various versions of that nine as well. As opposed to Haaland is playing a distinct type of striker, and that's simply it. He's not going to be other versions of a striker. He'll just be, that poacher type striker, or you want to refer to that.
Haaland plays on impulse. He knows where the second ball is going to go and drop, and he scores. He's a very clever footballer. He's probably one of the best in the business at knowing where the ball's going to go. If it hits the post, if it hits the defender, he's there ready, bang, he scores. And for me, I've always said this: him and Harry Kane are not great footballers, but they're great top goal scorers, bro. Isaac on the eye looks much better, of course. But for me, they get the job done, Haaland and Kane. And that's what it's all about, really, isn't it? Get the job done, scoring goals.
Mm-hmm. Baz, do you have an opinion on that one? Baz might be indisposed for a second. Lee, do you have an opinion on that one, though?
Oh, okay.
Oh, Baz, if you're ready, you can do it.
Oh, yeah. No, it was just background noise. That's why I had it on pause. Look, for me, if we're talking about Isak versus Haaland, yeah. Look, Haaland is young. He's a robot. Yeah. I do think that he does need people to do most of his work. He's a gunman for sure, but he's reliant on creation, whereas Isak can play on the left, can play on the right, can beat a player, has got great technical ability. He's got a great shot on him as well. And I think maybe not this season. I think this season might be a bit too early. I think Isak will probably return some goals. I think next season, once he's used to his players, I think Isak is going to be the one. I just think he's around better players, and I think he's got that great ability. No one pays, that kind of money for someone that is not that great, and he's great. Haaland's just been the team where they've won it. They've got a good manager. They've got like a system. They've got the best. Like one at the time, they had one of the best midfielders in the world, Kevin De Bruyne. But I just think Isak is as a footballer, all rounder. I think he's better. Haaland does have, you can't dismiss Haaland. Haaland is a great goal scorer. But I think with him, if you keep him quiet, there's nothing going on. With Isak, he's just going to trouble all the time. You know what I mean? And if he doesn't score, he's going to assist. So yeah, for me, it's Isak all day long and twice on a Sunday.
Okay. The WMCFC FM. I don't know what that is, but it's probably something nice. Let's see. Dara says no comparison. Haaland has no first touch. Adam says Erling is a better striker, but all around Isak is way better. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think that's everyone that answered at least my initial question. I think. Let me see if anyone else did say something. Isak doesn't. Okay, that's something else. Okay, I don't know. They're talking about some cheeky stuff out there. What is it that you see for the future of Hugo? We only got like 2 minutes left here, so quick answers. Does Hugo have an opportunity to be a starter, much less even our starter striker? Or now that Isak is and eventually will be our starter, do you think that Isak will be phased out of being that starter striker and we'll have to find another role, or if not, have him as a backup?
Situation, bro. Mm-hmm. For me, I got no problem with Ekitike starting. I'll give Isaac a few weeks just to get into the flow again. And in that time, Ekitike can sort of take care of that. We've got so many games, bro, as well. So the possibilities of game time are going to arise because you can't really play Ekitike day every week, every game. So Isaac has to come in for a few games, So it's going to be interesting. But I'd love to see both of them playing up top. In just one game, like Burnley on Sunday. Solid. Isaac starts with Ekitike up top, and that'd be crazy. But it ain't going to happen, but yeah, imagine that. Perfect opponents to play against, like two strikers.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anybody else got an opinion on that one?
I think obviously with Isak, they're not going to rush. They're not going to rush him. Ekatike, look, he was what, nearly 80 million quid. They're not going to just buy him to like bench him. And he's a player that can offer so much. And remember, we've lost forwards and attackers this season from one reason or another. You know, obviously with rest in peace Jota and obviously Diaz. I don't see them playing in the same team together as a start. I maybe like if we're desperate for a goal and it's just not working one of those days, or rest a player or squad rotation. Really, I don't think they've bought him to just I think it's someone that's another option because he's similar to Isak, and if you got a great player,
$80 million option though, £80 million option.
But this is what I'm saying. But I don't think you're not going to bench a £125 million player for an Ekatike.
Yeah, you're not going to make him an option either. I get that.
Yeah,
I get.
So it's great competition, and they're both great players, and similar sort of ages. Well, I know Isak's 25, Ekatike is 22, but 3 years is not a lot, and he's a baby version of Isak. So imagine you have the best striker in the world. Or one of the best strikers in the world, you can essentially bench him or not miss him and have someone that is similar to him, so you're not losing out. So there is that option. So yeah, I just think that there's going to be so much games. So I don't see like Ekatike not playing games. I see that they essentially will get they could get 20 games each. You know what I mean? And depending on who you're playing as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's a factor as well. So yeah,
or what the competition is, by the way, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Champions League, dead rubbers, cup matches, whatever, it's a great experience.
It makes a definite difference. Just asking. I know it was an interesting. It got some heated. I know it got some heated debate from some of the some of the citizens out there. But I thought I might put my 2 cents worth in and also hear what your 2 cents worth was as well. And that's what we got. We got more than our 2 cents. We got a pound worth of info or insight from our great panel here, Lee, Baz, and JK. Big up to each and every one of you.
Sorry, bro. Mm-hmm.
We're going to be wrapping up the show here. Talked about Olise, £138 million possible transfer for next summer. It's tough even saying that out loud. Actually, 138 million. I know, guys.
I thought you were gonna say because I've noticed how many people are talking about we're gonna get Wharton, we're gonna get Olise next season. I don't give a damn about next season. I'm thinking about this season. Them two guys play for Crystal Palace and Bayern Munich. Simple. I'm sick of it. Like, what are these guys trying to plan for the future? What are they? Investment bankers or something? Like, come on. It's like, support the players we got. What are you worried about Olise for? Who says he wants to come to Liverpool anyway? Madness.
Yeah.
We got this season to look after, man.
That's what we did. We did that. We did that today. It's thank Gomez. It's Friday. Show Gomez a little love. Nothing to do with him being injured. Nothing to do with any of that stuff. Just the fact that Gomez shared some photos on Instagram, from training, and he got mad love from players liking. Obviously, everyone follows him pretty much everyone follows him apparently on the team. So he had all these different likes and shows of appreciation for his just his posting and the fact that he's back in training and he's with the team. I thought that was fantastic. We got some props from Arteta calling us the strongest team in the Prem. I know the Guéhi file is still open. I'm not going to try to touch that wound with JK, so I'll just leave that one alone. We got a little conversation going on with the whole Isak Haaland debate. I'd say please smash the like buttons if you can. Share this with a fellow Red or Reds plural if you can do that. If you are a rival or even a neutral, you're more than welcome to be a part of the conversation as well. So please do hit the subscribe button. Most times than not, as long as you're respectful and cool with us, we are cool with you. But we're no Huckleberry, as Doc would say. But I would say in the comments, tell me your boldest weekend take in the comments if you want, or anything that we spoke on. You can answer in the comments section. But anything you guys want to say before we bounce out?
Thanks for rocking with us. Big up, chat. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe. If you haven't already, hit the likes. And yeah, thank you, Talkman, for having me, and big up JK and Lee.
Bless, bro. Likewise, bro. Bless up the chat as always. And I like your top, the top you're wearing, the Japan one.
Oh, that's
really cool. Yeah, it looks really nice.
It's got this.
Yeah, I want to big that up.
That's a boss top, though. I can't lie.
I'm telling you, bro. It's a real nice top.
Yeah.
12 point there's the football tops. You got good taste in it.
Yeah. I got a couple. Hopefully, I can get them done pretty soon. But I might try my hand at designing a couple of my own Liverpool jerseys here. They kind of like to, and I should be getting my third kit in the mail soon, which I'm excited about.
I like the green. I like the third kit. It's nice.
Yeah, I did. That one was the one I was like most excited about, was the green kit. That's only, I think, primarily because you know why? Because it has the old Adidas symbol on it. I like the classic Adidas symbol as opposed to the new one.
Yeah,
the 3 stripes. But we'll see.
The originals.
I'm an OG now. You know, just like the panel, full of OGs here.
Speak for yourself, son.
Lee, Mr. OG, Scouts in the house.
Everyone in the chat. Hopefully, we'll be on 12 points soon enough. And if the other results go our way, could be a good weekend. As I say, I'm not expecting Arsenal or Chelsea to drop points, but I'd certainly like Man United to give City a beating anyway and continue their sort of bad run of form and increase pressures at the Etihad for Guardiola. That'll make my weekend complete if we win. And that happens.
Be nice. Be very nice. And twice as nice, like he said earlier, was just drop that like if you can. But, you know, invite others to the channel. Definitely encourage them to subscribe. And if you can, hit that notification bell. When we go live, you'll be a part of the conversation. Other than that, I would have to say, enjoy your weekend. It's going to be a long, long weekend for me. So I might have to do some of my broadcasts earlier than normal. So keep an eye for that. Definitely hit the notification. Just for tomorrow and Sunday, at least, I'll have to do them a little bit earlier than normal. But all the same, please do join us tomorrow. And until then, up the Reds, as always, my brothers and sisters. Up the Reds each and every time. We'll see you guys tomorrow, and take care.
Peace.